your jaw just drops just seeing house after house spared thanks to the great work of firefighters. And I met a father and son who narrowly escaped flames, and the property owner who says it can only be described or explained through divine intervention.
Pretty scary when I saw the flames right there. I was sitting there going, I wasn't prepared for this.
On Sunday, father and son, Rich and Cole Cottarello, were working on their friend's home in Yucaipa when they found themselves surrounded by the 15-foot flames of the El Dorado fire.
It was like a movie, like plane after plane over the house, helicopters dropping stuff. It was just insane. I've never seen anything like it.
They knew they had to make a run for it.
I looked at my side mirror, and the flames were going up, and across this road, just a wall of fire was going across here. And I knew that, this is the only way out because I can't turn around with that trailer. So I gunned it and I went through it. My son followed me. Thank God.
Cole was behind him in another truck.
I was scared for my life.
The flames and smoke were so thick he couldn't see.
I had no vision, and I ended up going over here to the left. You could see my tire marks. I almost went in the ditch, and I came up right here. Boom! I thought I was going to flip, and I just thank God for my life.
After seeing the devastation all around them, Pat Mills, who owns the home, still can't believe they're okay.
All around my property, it's burned everywhere. They were literally just inside a wall of fire all the way around them.
It was left to him by his parents. His father recently passed away. He credits them with saving the home.
There wasn't a fire crew up here at the time. They were gone. There was nobody here. All this fire is going on. How my trees didn't catch on fire and catch my house on fire, I mean, there's no way to explain it. It's just, it had to be my mom and dad looking down on me.
After that close call, they're all counting their blessings.
I feel pretty lucky.
And we're in the Scenic Crest community where firefighters did a backburn operation. They're still busy mopping that up. They did that so that they can tie this El Dorado fire to the old apple burn scar. You can see smoke coming up right there. They're trying to put out hot spots to make sure that when those Santa Ana winds blow, all of this can be put out and nothing is in danger of blowing this way, because once those Santa Ana winds blow, this whole community will be in danger. Reporting live from Yucaipa, Alvarado, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Let's take a look at some of the other fires burning around the Golden State. The Bobcat Fire burning in the Angeles National Forest has burned 8,500 acres, 0% containment tonight. Cause of this fire is unknown. And in San Diego, the Valley Fire is still burning. It now has burned 17,000 acres. That's up 10,000 from yesterday. It's currently 3% contained. 10 structures have been destroyed and evacuation orders are in place. And another wildfire burning in Central California near Mammoth Pool Reservoir. The Creek Fire has now burned 143,000 acres, 0% containment. It started in the forest south of Yosemite National Park and has nearly doubled in size since yesterday.
With all these fires burning in many regions of the state, the air quality is dangerous for sensitive breathers. We're already dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, which is a disease that affects the lungs. And now with poor air quality from the fires, Riverside County health officials are urging everyone to take precautions because of the smoke. Take a look at this video from earlier today. Poor air quality, so poor across the valley. At some points, it was hard to see the mountains surrounding our valley. And viewer video shows ash raining from the sky, landing on cars in Palm Desert. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett with a look at the conditions out there. I know he's been tracking this all day for us. Mike.
Sarah, in a simple word, it's terrible out there. We've got a lot of smoke that's still trapped right here in the Coachella Valley. We were hoping for some relief today in the form of those northeasterly winds. We were talking about the double-edged sword that it was going to pose for us today when we were on the air last night. Basically, we got some clearing. Now, remember, when the winds come from the northeast, that should theoretically just push everything offshore. We got some clearing over top of Nevada here. This is the Goes West satellite, and what it's doing is showing you all of those fires and the direction that that smoke is taking. It's still still hugging the immediate coastline up in Northern California. Look at this explosion of fire up from up here. I'm assuming that would be the Bobcat fire. I'm not exactly sure, but that is one of the many fires that is contributing to all of this smoke. Unfortunately, it just hasn't given us enough clearing. You're seeing a lot of that already moving offshore there. That's a good sign. And as those winds continue to peak overnight tonight, that will continue to help us out a little bit. But in the short term, it doesn't look like we're going to see that smoke start to meaningfully clear until at least Thursday. We'll talk more about that in a moment. As far as air quality goes, absolutely right. Now, the South Coast Air Quality Management District is saying that we've got moderate, which is unhealthy for sensitive breathers. I respectfully disagree. I would say that this is clearly unhealthy to sensitive groups and possibly bordering right on the edge of unhealthy. When you got ash raining down from the sky, that's a very clear sign that your air is not good. If you're a sensitive breather, you know what to do. And if you're planning on any exercise tonight, jogging, running, tennis, anything like that, just make sure you check the air quality in your neighborhood before you go out. Now, we're taking a look right now at watches and warnings. We've got that red flag warning that went into effect yesterday, will stay in place until at least 8 p.m. literally for everything around us. As those northeasterly winds start to pick up, that's really going to dry out the air. The great news is we got a low pressure system that's dropping down along the coast here. High pressure between it is really going to noticeably cool us down as we go overnight tonight and into Wednesday morning. You're going to see some temperatures that are going to make a dramatic drop. Before I let you go here, I just want to show you future winds tonight. I'm expecting them to peak right around midnight tonight. We'll get those gusts up to about 25, 30 miles an hour here in the Coachella Valley, 40 miles an hour in the passes, 55 and even 60 up towards the high desert there. Again, pushes the smoke away, but dries everything out and increases those fire dangers as we go overnight tonight into tomorrow. Currently 102 at the airport, winds coming in sustained 15 to 20 miles an hour. It's very dry out there already at 7%. Next 3 days brought to you by Comfort Air. If there's a silver lining to all of this, overnight temperatures will bottom out at 70 tomorrow morning. We don't even hit 100. We'll get there on Thursday and then moderate and hopefully start to clear as we move towards the weekend. Details in your full forecast are minutes away.
All right, thank you, Mike. You may have seen the alarming and fear-mongering posts on social media surrounding California State Senate Bill 145 with quotes like, pedophilia is now legal in California, and California passed SB 145, it's a pedophile bill. It states no felony for having sex with minors. Now, none of these posts are true. The age of consent in California remains 18 years of age. SB 145 will not affect the criminal status of sex between minors and adults. Any sex act with a person under the age of 18, again, is a crime. But whether or not it's a misdemeanor or a felony has always depended on the age of the people involved. The only thing SB 145 is attempting to do is to create equality in how cases are handled when people involved are engaged in different types of sex acts. Now, these posts often urge people to call their state representative, and in this case, our state senator appears to believe this misinformation and is spreading it. Our Olivia Sandusky has more on SB 145 and the misguided online outrage that it's generating. Olivia.
Gino, that's right. To reiterate that, this bill would not change the criminal status of sex between adults and minors. That remains illegal. But it would give judges more discretion in deciding who must register as a sex offender. Senate Bill 145 is a signature away from becoming law. The bill reworks the current sex offender registration process, and the senator who created it says it's intended to end discrimination.
We're stepping up to say we should not be criminalizing our LGBTQ youth, and we should not be ruining their lives by putting them on the sex offender registry for having consensual sex.
Under the current law, sex with a minor is illegal, and the judge decides if the adult should be placed on the sex offender registry for vaginal intercourse. But anal and oral sex, used commonly by the LGBTQ community, results in automatic registration. Under SB 145, sex with a minor would still be illegal, but the judge's decision would now extend to cover anal and oral sex, eliminating an automatic registration. State Senator Melissa Melendez has been outspoken against the bill. In a tweet to Senator Weiner, she says, "You're trying to normalize sex with children." And local assembly candidate Andrew Kotyuk agrees.
I'm sure there's some cases where, this law may fit, where the judge can decide, but I'm not comfortable leaving it in their hands.
Kotyuk also says the bill goes easy on pedophiles, but Senator Weiner says that claim is simply not true.
This kind of slander is outrageous.
If the law passes, a judge is only given discretion if the minor is between 14 and 17, and the offender is 10 years older or less in their first offense. But Kotyuk says he would be more comfortable with a smaller age gap.
10 is a little crazy for me to think about. If it was 3 to 5, like it was a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, that's something where I'd say, hey, let's work with law enforcement.
And we did reach out to State Senator Melissa Melendez's office. She was not available for comment. And also important to note with SB 145, the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, as well as the California Police Chiefs Association, have supported this bill. Now, if it's signed by Governor Newsom within the next month, it will become a law. Reporting live from our satellite news center, Olivia Sandusky, NBC Palm Springs.
Thank you, Olivia. 7 people are killed in a shooting at an illegal marijuana growing operation in Aguanga. Deputies were called after a report of an assault with a deadly weapon. They found a woman suffering from multiple gunshot wounds who was rushed to the hospital but ultimately died. Deputies then found 6 additional shooting victims dead at the scene. Police are still looking for a suspect.
And we've got road construction alerts for you. In case you haven't seen it, Monterey's a bit of a mess and closed in several areas for repaving. One lane near the intersection of Monterey and Frank Sinatra is closed around the clock through September 18th. The northbound lane between Fred Waring and Magnesia Falls shut down completely, and that'll be closed through the 25th for construction of the CV link. Now, you are highly encouraged to avoid the area. Try using Bob Hope or Portola if you can.
Yeah, and you'll thank us later. Well, coming up next, a phase 3 trial for a coronavirus vaccine has been paused unexpectedly. We'll tell you why after the break.
Plus, after President Trump's comments on voting twice, Georgia is now reporting cases of people doing just that. More on those stories when we come back.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers, I'll have my exclusive interview with President Trump's former lawyer, why Michael Cohen calls him a cult leader, and what he says about the president, Barack Obama, and race. Also, how effective is UV light as a coronavirus fighter? What you should know on NBC Nightly News.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
Taking a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers for the county and the entire Coachella Valley. This is a 4-day total. The county didn't report numbers over the holiday weekend. 585 new cases were reported in Riverside County. 115 of those are from the Coachella Valley. There were 8 new deaths countywide, and 2 of those were from our valley.
Drug maker AstraZeneca announced they are pausing their phase 3 trials for a coronavirus vaccine. There was suspected serious adverse reaction in one of the participants in the United Kingdom. Now, it's not clear whether the trial was paused voluntarily by AstraZeneca or by the oversight agency. A spokesperson says the pause is a routine action which happens whenever there is something unexplained associated with those receiving these vaccines.
9 pharmaceutical companies sign a pledge that they will uphold scientific standards in the pursuit of a COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC last week asked states to prepare for mass distribution of a vaccine by November 1st. President Trump has also suggested a vaccine would be ready by the fall.
A new study suggests hospitalization rates are similar in kids with COVID-19 and the flu. Experts also say there was no statistical significant difference in the hospitalization rates, ICU admission, or being put on a ventilator between those two groups. The average age of those who were hospitalized with COVID-19 was slightly older than those who were hospitalized with just the regular old flu. Coming up after the break, Mike's going to have a check of that forecast as the smoke continues to linger over the Coachella Valley. Here's a quick check of our Walter Clark cam. We're back with your AccuWeather forecast after the break.
Welcome back. Well, it's pretty much the story of the day today. In fact, it's pretty easy to say that quantifiably more smoke in the Coachella Valley today than we saw even yesterday. There is some goodish news on the horizon. We are tracking those winds. In fact, you can see them right there, courtesy of your Agua Caliente Casino Can downtown Palm Springs. What you cannot see are the mountains in the distance. Their visibility extremely low today. And as we mentioned, air quality is an issue there. Looks like we're going to get that smoke to clear out, but it's going to take about a good 36 to 48 hours to do that. I'll tell you about that in a moment. I want to show you a quick contrast. Meanwhile, in Colorado, this is a live look from Interstate 70 and one of my favorite places on earth. This is Vail, where snow fell today. Current temperature there is about 35 degrees. A powerful low pressure system driving in across the Midwest there. You can see it very clearly on infrared, just taking temperatures down in its wake there and bringing some snow across the Intermountain West. Now, it's expected to heat up as this system continues to move through. It's not going to stick. Winter certainly hasn't started there. In fact, they'll be back up into the 70s and 80s in Colorado by the time we get to the weekend. We are the beneficiaries as well. The frontal boundary that's dragging over top of that is actually going to take our temperatures down dramatically. We saw that just a minute ago. I'll show you some even better numbers in a moment. The smoke today actually kept temperatures, well, close to average. 103 is the 30-year average. It's been a long time since we've been below 105. 120 is the record for today's date, and we're still running warm overnight. 84 is where we bottomed out. Okay, let's talk wind here. We are tracking those northeasterly winds that will be coming across the Mojave. That will help to push some of the smoke further off towards the south and west. It's not going to be a miracle cure for us, though. And because it's coming up from the northeast there, you and I both know that that's going to dry things out significantly up in our forest there. And as a result, we've got red flag warnings in place overnight tonight until 8 p.m. on Wednesday. As we put those winds into motion, it looks like the North American model wants to peak those right around 2 a.m. tonight. So it's going to get gusty right around 10 o'clock tonight, and you'll notice it in the overnights as well, possibly some rattling windows out there. Nothing that's going to be crazy like 50 or 60 mile an hour winds because we get the blockage from the San Bernardinos, but it will be breezy out there, 40, 45 miles an hour in the passes, 50 and 60 not out of the question in the high desert tonight. And of course, it's a double-edged sword. Pushes the smoke away, but dries everything out. You're going to see humidity get down to about 5 to 10% in many of our forests tonight and only recover up to about 20, 25 in the early morning hours there. Please do be very careful. 83 currently in the Yucca Valley, 101 in Coachella. That's nice to be able to say. 64 in Big Bear and currently 81 in Anza. It's going to be very slow to cool tonight, but look at what happens in the early morning hours of Wednesday. We're going to go to the 70s. It's been a long time, and we won't even get to 100 tomorrow. 97 in Palm Springs and Palm Desert and Indio, 96 in Thousand Palms, mid-80s in Joshua Tree. We're going to be moderate on Thursday as well. Should start to see air quality improve going into the weekend. We'll warm slightly above average on Friday and Saturday there, and it looks like we're going to stay in this temperate range. It's about 4 or 5 degrees above average, but certainly nowhere close to 120.
Nearly 1,000 double voting cases are found in Georgia during their primary election. With November elections approaching, Georgia officials want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Last week, during a stop in North Carolina, President Trump suggested his supporters should attempt to vote twice to make sure their votes are counted.
The Biden-Harris campaign has a new video out that features former President Barack Obama and Kamala Harris having a conversation about Joe Biden. It's the first time Obama and Harris have appeared together virtually since she became Biden's vice presidential running mate. In this portion of the video, Harris asks Obama to describe his relationship with Joe.
So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know?
The main thing to know about Joe is that Joe has never lost his sense of why we do this. He's constantly aware that everything that comes up, his focus is going to be how's that going to help those people who sent him there.
You can find the full conversation on Kamala Harris' YouTube page. We'll have more after the break. Stick around.
Thank you for joining us here at 5. We'll be back here tonight at 6 after NBC Nightly News with an update on the fires burning across our region, as well as a look at that air quality. Stay with us. We'll see you at 6.